do is get the fuck on. And that's why I don't really take all these celebrities serious when they say, oh, we're gonna strike, we're gonna protest, because I look at them just the way I look at white liberals in black neighborhoods.
Yes, preach, brother.
Yes.
If things change, if things change for black people, for poor blacks, then things are really gonna change for them. So that means no more slave labor, no more, all that shit. And if LeBron James really cared about the black community, he could just have us make his shoes, you know what I'm saying, and give us to make his shoes. But he still got slaves, you know what I'm saying? So so you can't say one. You can't talk out the side of your neck, my nigga. You got to be about it. If you're about it, be about it. So
absolutely.
All these people, man, I just look at them like, you ain't about that shit, man. I saw that shit.
We have black.
I was like, that shit ain't gonna last.
We have black intellectuals warning about black celebrities and the black ruling class for literally decades. Malcolm X had a famous. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna pull it up if I can find it.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna pull it up if I can find it. But
I'm telling you,
Dubois is another guy.
I can give y'all. I'm about to say I can give y'all a whole history lesson.
I know you're a scholar. Like, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, Savion.
Trust me. I'm like,
go ahead, brother.
I can't go too much into it, but basically, this is how it started because of course after 1865 when the Civil War ended, right when the Civil War ended. Slaves were free, not really free, but free. And then that's when you had the assassination of Lincoln, and then Johnson came in. And Johnson came in, that's when pretty much all hell broke loose, because you have to remember this. When Lincoln was, Lincoln and Johnson ran on, guess what? They ran on what kind of ticket? What ticket do you think they ran on? A unity ticket. They ran on unity because Lincoln was a progressive. Lincoln was a progressive. He was a progressive Republican. And you had Johnson, who was a Democrat, who was a hardcore, staunch, slavery-loving Democrat. But they were like, you know what? It's okay. Let's go ahead and unify the party. Let's unify people because we're in a civil war right now. So when Lincoln was assassinated, that's when Johnson came in and gave us the Jim Crow laws, the black codes, all those. And basically the black codes led to Jim Crow because that gave states the power to do whatever they wanted with black people, specifically in the South. So then after, all this happened, then this is when you had the Black Thought, the Black Thought movement. And then you had scholars growing because they started to be able to go to schools and learn whatever they wanted, create their own schools. That's how we got our HBCUs. And so, and MSIs, because there were also MSIs at the time. And then you got someone who was an incredibly smart man who also kind of in his way was a little bit an elitist in some sense. And that was W.E.B. Du Bois, because he had some of his elitist ways as well. With the specifically with the NAACP, it was with the NAACP. So you had W.E.B. Du Bois, and then on the other hand, you had a former slave, because W.E.B. Du Bois grew up in the North. He grew up in pretty sure in Philadelphia. And then you had a former slave who worked his ass off and became something, and that's kind of where that bootstraps, lift yourself off your bootstraps type of, situation. And that was Booker T. Washington. So you had Booker T. Washington and you had W.E.B. Du Bois. Booker T. Washington was much older than W.E.B. Du Bois. So he was more of that like old school Jim Clyburn type of style. Okay. And then on this other hand, you have like a Cornel West type of person who thinks more scholarly, who has seen the troubles of what it's like in the North, because a lot of black people in the South, they thought that it was great for black people in the North. They were like, oh, they can do it. They can do all this stuff. And they're free. And that's literally not, that's not what it was. That's not what it was like. Yeah,
I found that. Hold that. Yeah. I found that Malcolm X clip. Let's take a look. Let's see. Can y'all hear that?
No, it's not playing.
Let me watch the stream real quick.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear that?
Comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baseball players. Show me.
I'm gonna start over. I was talking over.
Yes, sir.
That they called leaders. This included Lena Horne. This included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. Just told you.
See, I'm a Malcolm X. I'm a Malcolm X.
Exactly right.
I don't fuck with Barack Obama. I don't fuck with Kamala Harris. I fuck with Malcolm X. I don't fuck with Eric Dyson. I fuck with Malcolm X. I don't fuck with these black neoliberals. That's who I fuck with. So if people want to get mad at me because I criticize LeBron, because I criticize Barack Obama, you better check the record. Like, we have black intellectuals that have been talking about this forever, brother. But take us back to school, Savvy. I just want to show that clip because I think that was super important. I saw that.
And now speaking on that,
perfect.
Speaking on that, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you heard about this. It's called the Black Power Circle. So in 1964, I'm pretty sure it was in Miami, and I'm pretty sure there's a documentary about it. But a young Muhammad Ali, or at the time he had changed his name, before he changed his name, Cassius Clay at that time. It was right when he had become the heavyweight champion. Him, Sam Cooke, who else was it? I'm pretty sure Jim Brown, and then Malcolm X. All four of them got together. They were all friends, and it was basically this power. They were like basically this power group, and they knew because that's when Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay at the time they were the big boys. They were the biggest sports figures at the time, and them on top with Sam Cooke, who had all the black men, like black and white people going with his music, and that they had the biggest amount of influence. And they weren't with MLK. They were with Malcolm X. That was a problem for them.
And because you know what, man, I feel them because I feel like before I even I was taught Malcolm X in public schools. MLK in public schools. Yeah. But when I started learning about Malcolm X, the more I dislike MLK. You know what I'm saying? Even before then. Even before I heard of Malcolm X, I was wondering, why don't he just get all these black people together to just, tear up Washington? Like I always said, the Million Man March should have been one march. It should have been one big ass riot. We ripped Washington out of his fucking roots, and we would have they wouldn't want that again. You know what I'm saying? A million niggas come to your state and tear that bitch up. That should have been one thing. But
preach.
That's why they don't teach. That's why they don't teach about Malcolm X, because they want you to know. And I mean, I'm coming from a public school teacher. I did that. I had to teach about MLK, and the version that I read and that I was like, that's not even MLK, because the way they're teaching it in the schools is basically, oh well, he had a dream and then everything was okay. That's how they want us to teach it. And that's far from it.
It's I have a dream, racism over, Barack Obama. That's
but they don't look at all the segregationists he was cool with. They don't look at all the, man, it was Martin Luther King did set niggas up. He did set niggas up to get knocked down. You know what I'm saying? Them big ass protests, those should have been some type of riot, especially during those times when you fighting for civil rights, voting rights, and shit like that. That should have been time. That was the time to really revolt. But they used that time to sing Kumbaya. What the hell is wrong with this dude?
But it wasn't always Kumbaya, though. That's the thing. It wasn't always Kumbaya. That's what they want you to think. Because a lot of them led to they were peacefully protesting, but they were doing exactly what they're doing now. The police were agitating them. The police had dogs attacking them, just like they're doing now. They were using water hoses. They were bombing. They were bombing places. Think about Alabama. The little girls who died in Alabama at the church, at the Baptist church there. They were doing all this stuff. Because they knew how powerful it was. Yes, protesting is one of the most powerful things you can do, but of course, aided with, like you said, with rioting and destruction of property, that is what really gets stuff done.
That's why Democrats and Republicans are against it, because it actually fucking works. They don't want to actually, like, oh shit, we got to actually do something, because they're gonna run out of stuff to burn. Yeah, in a minute they're gonna come out here.
You wanna know how well it works? Yeah. Because I remember when the whole defund police movement started, what was the messaging that was coming from liberals? Like, oh, we can't say defund police. It's too radical. We're gonna lose the election.
No, and you're gonna lose the police. You can't get rid of the police.
The polling for defund the police literally doubled in the last few months. Like, it's literally
just in the last.
So that shows that protest works. And this is my
Democrats are out of touch.
And this is my criticism of people like John Lewis. Because my thing, I will look back at the civil rights movement. I will say the civil rights movement wasn't complete. It wasn't finished. We still had work to do. Yeah, we got in a much better position, but it was never finished. So so what he did, he joined the force of the oligarchy, and he pushed for the same kind of system of oppression that literally oppressing the black youth right now. And this is my criticism of black boomers, because black boomers buy into the system that is literally crushing our communities. Like the black boomers, I can't say any other way. They sold us out to the police state by voting for Joe Biden this election. At a period, amen, in the story.
I mean, but look what John Lewis said. Do you remember that tweet that John Lewis said? He was basically like, I was beaten bloody by police officers, but I never hated them. I said, thank you for your service. What the fuck?
John Lewis, dude, he's an influencer, man. He got a lot of power, so don't get it twisted. When he tweets stuff like that, he's trying to influence the mind. Like when politicians talk and when they tweet, nothing is said by accident. They understand what kind of power and what kind of microphone they have. So when John Lewis say that, he says that because he wants us to think that. It's not him just saying his opinion. He's a public figure. He's careful about everything he tweets. So once again, I don't stomp on people's grave, but I treat people in death how I treat them in life. If you want to be treated with respect in death, live your life in the way you want to be respected in death. So once again, I don't go after his family. I don't attack him.
Tell people like, look, man, fuck John Lewis, fuck Booker T. Washington, fuck all these fucking black sellouts. I don't have what you think. Like, just because he's dead don't mean he's not a chameleon. He's still a fucking chameleon.
Because the thing is, a lot of people
dead or alive, they'll call you out.
A lot of people say that he did a lot of work for the civil rights movement, which I do not deny. I do not deny what he did in the civil rights movement in the 60s. My argument was, if it wasn't him,
you do one thing, nigga. You do one thing, but look, they were gonna give black people voting rights. Period.
That's my point. Yeah, I was literally about to say, if it wasn't John Lewis, my thing is
all that shit. The Democrats needed black people to fucking vote for them, so they was gonna give us voting rights anyway. But
great point.
Don't put this whole don't put it all on him. Like this nigga waved a magical wand, because that was the case.
Yeah,
all these black neighborhoods that still go through voter oppression right now wouldn't be going through it. So if John Lewis was so strong, and with the position that he had, then we wouldn't have voter suppression. Just like when all the young blacks are trying to vote for Bernie, we wouldn't be going through that shit. Amen. So fuck John Lewis. He ain't doing enough.
You know why I say?
Nigga, but you ain't doing enough. And
you know why I say fuck John Lewis?
Still the same. By the time it's 2050, and if life hasn't changed, fuck me too. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk, my nigga. Real talk. That is some real talk. But you know why I say fuck John Lewis? Because, like I said, my point, I tell people this all the time. If it wasn't John Lewis, it would have been someone else, because our movement was giant. John Lewis was given that opportunity to speak. If it wasn't for him, it would have been someone else. Maybe someone who wouldn't have sold out. But at the end of the day, he voted against congressional approval for Libya. So he's responsible for that. He voted against the amendment because the amendment was to allow Congress to vote on that. He voted against that. So we see what happened in Libya right now. We see the new open slave market. So you're going to tell me that he's not responsible for that? He is complicit with slave markets in Libya.
Yeah, of course he is.
He's a fucking war criminal, and I don't hold back on any war criminal, even if he was a civil rights activist. I don't give a fuck. That vote alone, on top of anything else we were talking about, that vote alone it's cancel worthy. I'm sorry. It's he's done.
Destroyed
he's done.
Destroyed the country. Ain't nothing but a cover up for these liberals, because there is no civil rights. We barely hanging on to the civil rights we have now. So you know what I'm saying, to say you're a civil rights leader, like when,
I mean, we can barely vote
to the rights that we have. Right. what are you talking about? You a leader? You can say you're a fighter, a civil rights fighter. You fight against civil rights, But other than that, ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing civil.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing changed for the civil. So,
but that's a part of
nothing. You ain't leading nothing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, but that's how the system works though, is that you take an outsider or someone who was opposed to the system, like John Lewis, you take these people, these outside voices, and then you assimilate them into your message, and then you get to use them as mouthpieces, as speakers back to the population that they're speaking to. So that's what happens, is that you take someone like John Lewis.
They've been doing it for almost 100 years now. Yeah. Ever since basically Booker T. Washington was literally one of the first ones. I mean, they brought in. Do y'all know what president that he did with Booker T. Washington? Right. That was Roosevelt. Yeah. So Roosevelt had him come. Yeah, it was Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, and he had him come and speak, and that was the Atlanta Compromise. That was the speech that he did, and basically his speech was like, "Hey, we can all be purely social, but be as separate as the finger, yet one as the hand in all things." So basically what he was saying is we can be separate but equal. Also, we need to have our own financial security, which I kind of agree with about the financial security part.
I agree with that. I agree with that portion.
There's also that portion of, but you want to be separate but equal. Like you're basically a segregationist in the sense. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like we're still not going to be able to vote. We're still not going to be able to do all these other things. And that's what WEB Dubois was saying. It's like, nigga, you ain't going to be able to do shit still. We ain't going to have no power. Yeah. We going to be able to have this power over our finances, which, in a sense, is how are we going to go to a hospital? And they're going to be like, we could just make our own. Where we go get the land to buy that? All the white people have the damn land.
Exactly.
Okay. So how we go get it?
That's